gated community who admittedly took it upon himself to feed these wild creatures, but his neighbor Matthew said the seemingly harmless act was wreaking havoc as it encouraged the iguanas to overpopulate the area, attack his pets, and poop all over the exterior of his house. In this episode titled, Feuding Neighbors, Stop Feeding the Iguanas, we got to the bottom of this controversy and found out what was really at stake.
Iguanas are wreaking havoc on the Sunshine State. The number of iguanas in Florida has soared in recent years.
They're disgusting. They are absolutely gross. They're dirty.
Meryl Alpert is far from thrilled to share her space with iguanas.
They're a nuisance.
Meryl says they have eaten most of her plants, broken her planters, and leave their droppings everywhere.
City officials say an iguana was responsible for a large-scale power outage this afternoon.
A Southwest Florida man is using a strange method to keep invasive iguanas out of his yard.
Richard Dahlstrom told me he was tired of it, so he decided to hang up these CDs in his yard to deter them.
It turns out that flashy items interfere with their eyesight.
Neighbors tell me these iguanas are really a problem for two reasons. One, they leave messes like this, but they also dig holes that could damage these neighbors' property.
For Harold Rondon, he uses a different type of approach to keep the common pests out of people's yards.
So we have to use air guns, which is regulated here in the state of Florida. There's a certain pellet that you need to use, a certain place you need to hit them. It has to be humane.
Florida's Wildlife Agency is encouraging homeowners to kill green iguanas that show up on their property.
Homeowners, lay people that don't understand iguanas should not go and try to take the matters into their own hands because they could get hurt.
My first guest, Darren, says when he moved into his new townhome in the Miami metropolitan area last year with his wife and children, he was welcomed by friendly neighbors until he started feeding green iguanas on his property with his hand and his mouth. Now, Darren says some neighbors have complained, cursed at him, and even reported him to the Homeowners Association. But he says it's just because they're jealous because the iguanas eat their plants and not his. Well, okay. And yeah, this is a real issue, and it's threatening to tear this once tranquil neighborhood apart.
I'm having an issue with a majority of my neighbors. I love to feed the iguanas. I'm friends with the iguanas. I take care of the iguanas, and I'm starting to piss off a lot of people. Come on, Bruno. I can call them, and they know my voice. They'll come out and hang out with me. I'll share my food with them. They don't need to go scrounging out there for food. I can give it to them. And the other neighbors are getting jealous. These are people that I've been friends with. The iguanas don't like them. It's not my fault that the iguanas eat their plants. If you were feeding them regular food, then they wouldn't go eat your plants. The lady next door, she's like, the iguanas are scaring my dog. I get verbally abused by the neighbors, calling me names, saying I need to stop this. I'm a freak, forest boy, they call me jungle boy. I'll put food in my mouth and let the iguanas eat from my mouth. I've been bitten by iguanas, scratched by iguanas. Iguanas crawl on me. All I want to do is live peaceful. And I don't need everybody being pissed off at me because I'm trying to do what I feel is right.
Well, your friend kind of bit you there.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting that one because they don't usually bite me. But I was trying to have a moment with it. I was playing music for it, and I went to feed it. And I think he thought one of my fingers was part of the food, and it literally bit me. I didn't know they had, honestly, I didn't know they had razor sharp teeth inside there because it looks like just gum like that, and that thing just tore my finger up. Literally when I was shutting off the camera, blood was dripping off my finger. It was crazy.
Yeah, you didn't know they had razor sharp teeth.
No, I didn't do that part
of the
there. Research. Yeah, you see the blood.
Yeah, you might kind of want to check a few of those details out.
Yeah, well now I know, so I'm good.
Yeah,
you know?
And they scratch your chest and.
Oh yeah, I had scratches all over.
Your chest, yeah.
It was all good.
You play music for them.
Yes, they were like, "Wow, this guy's cool, man. He plays music. He got the the rain coming down. I mean, it was.
So you think that was going through their reptile brain that?
Oh yeah,
this guy's cool. I like his music. He's good vibe around here.
So these creatures that people call pests and invasive and this and that, they're actually so smart. They know my face. They know my voice. I could come out there and go, come on, baby, come on, Bruno. And they'll come right to me.
So this is Bruno and Big Marge.
Large Marge.
Large Marge?
Yeah. Well, you can call her Big Marge, whatever you want to call her, but she knows Large Marge.
Yeah.
And then that's Bruno, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to hurt her feelings, but she's not here, so.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be my. I'm gonna show her this. I'll let her see the show and all, you know.
Yeah, do that. Now you say the iguanas love Reese's chocolate cups.
Oh yeah.
You feed those out of your mouth?
Yeah, I do actually. There's a picture of Bruno eating it. So I was like, you know what? This is like really cool. It could be cool for the Reese's company to actually use that as a commercial or something. Like it loves it. It eats it in one bite. It's just like, boom.
Yeah, well, they might see this today.
Oh yeah, and then they'll be like, "Hey, I want Bruno."
I can see the headline now. You know, Reese's poisons lizards because when you give them chocolate, they
dogs.
can't process. No, you give them sugar, they can't process that.
Well, it processed it because I saw what came out of it, and it like processed right through, and it's still there.
Yeah.
So.
You know, when you were saying you didn't check the razor sharp teeth, you ought to check this too, because that's poison to those reptiles.
Well, now I know, so I'll have to switch it up.
You say you're called Nature Boy, and by some of your neighbors, because you like to feed these iguanas. What's their objection?
Well, what their objection is that I guess the iguanas go to their house, they eat their plants, they poop all over their patios and stuff. They attack their animals, supposedly, allegedly, attack their animals. They scare them. They don't want to come out on their patios because of the iguanas. But I'm like, I'm doing it.
So you're drawing the iguanas in. They ravage their flowers and attack their animals, and they're upset because you're drawing them in.
Well, I think it's just because the iguanas are going to their house for the reason that they're not feeding them. So they're eating their plants instead. See, I have a different outtake. I'm doing like reverse psychology. I'm feeding them, giving them what they want, so they're leaving my plants alone and they're not pooping on my deck. But they'll go over there and eat their plants and poop all over their place. But maybe if they started feeding them like I do, it'll totally change everything. And then they'll leave them alone. So
okay, well, we're going to see what one of Darren's neighbors thinks about this. And you may think, why are we talking about iguanas in Florida? We're just talking about people getting along. You know, there's a point where you have to say, what can I do to get along? And that goes for both sides of any conflict. So we're going to meet one of the neighbors who calls Darren weird, obnoxious, and irritating.
Oh, Lord.
Next.
What one's that?
My neighbors are getting so jealous. They're getting jealous because they see me having fun. I even said to one of them, why do you have to be jealous? You can come over and feed the iguanas with me. I mean, enjoy this. If you went to like some tropical place, you would pay probably $200 to feed iguanas. What I do is an experience. Actually, I just came up with a good idea. I should do an Airbnb experience, have people come to my house, feed the iguanas on my patio, and I'll put a little gumball machine where you get the food out and all that, and really piss the neighbors off.
Yeah, you just created a whole new industry right there on camera.
You know what? When I leave here, I'm going to start that.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea.
It's amazing.
Or maybe not. We're talking about feuding neighbors today. And look, we have a lot of divisiveness in America right now. And it all starts at home. I mean, can you get along with each other? Can you get along with your neighbors? Should you do something just because you can? Darren says he's called Nature Boy by some of his neighbors for feeding wild green iguanas in their South Florida community. Now, the community has said they are a nuisance and you ought to shoot them and kill them. My next guest, Matthew, lives 3 houses away and says Darren ignored him when he asked him to stop feeding the iguanas that were damaging the homes. And now he can't stand Darren and wants him to move. Take a look.
When Darren first moved in, I thought he was a great guy. Now my thoughts have completely changed. He's a nightmare to live by. He's a nightmare to have in the community. Everything you're not supposed to do, he does. I'm just sick of him with the iguanas. It's just feeding them constantly is an absolute nightmare. They used to want no part of people. The moment the door would open to the backyard, they would scatter. Now they see it as a signal like, oh, I'm gonna eat. Once he comes down and starts feeding them more, come out. My main issues are my dogs. Some of these things are big, like easily 5 feet. If one of them decided to grab a hold of my dog, they could do some damage. They eat plants, they crap and pee everywhere. My water bill is probably through the roof because I'm power washing my patio every couple weeks because of this guy. One day, I went over and he offered me like a piece of moss. So I'm like, no, what the hell am I gonna do with a piece of moss? That's pretty weird, man. And then he's like, well, I named them. So I'm like, all right, I gotta get out of here. I've called him Tarzan. I've called him George of the Jungle. I've called him Dr. Doolittle because I guess he's the animal whisperer of the community. Lizard Man.
Just got a little iguana.
You kind of hear him sometimes, like talking to these things.
Don't go.
It's kind of disturbing. He has them over like it's a happy hour. I have had my dogs poop and pee in his driveway, and I don't care if he sees me or not. He can clean it up just like I have to clean up the stuff that he's causing. We've come to words. It's gotten heated. It hasn't gotten physical. I mean, it can if he wants to. Just stop what you're doing. Just stop.
Well, Matthew is joining us from South Florida. You're frustrated with your neighbor here.
Yeah, I really don't know where else to turn. I've had it with him.
Well, last time you saw him, Matthew, you yelled at him, and you guys just don't communicate or get along at all.
He yells at me all the time. He can't even walk down the street and see me without yelling something. He's like Sasquatch coming down. McGilla Gorilla. And then he's like, oh, you let your iguana. He's from New York. He got the whole like ghetto thing, New York accent thing going on. And
yeah, it's very easy to be tough when I'm in a different time zone. So we can see if you want to say that. We can see that when you want to see me. When you come back, we'll talk about it.
My own time zone. I could have stayed home in my own time zone and had this go on.
Well, he's calling you Jungle Boy. You just called him McGilla Gorilla.
Well, you should see him. He comes out, boom, boom. I see him coming down the street. I don't even want to confront with him, but I'm like, here he goes again. It's like a shoestring, and then this little, like, I don't know what rats had incest in New York, but this thing came out, and he's like walking it down the street. I'm like, was that before the iguana got to it or after? I mean.
This is his dog?
One of them. I mean, there's a few, but this one's like, I mean, I wouldn't even let that thing in my house. And then he's worrying about the iguanas outside. I mean, come on, just.
You wouldn't let my dog in your house, but yet you feed wild animals from your mouth.
Yes, I do. So what?
Yeah.
You want to try it? See, that's the thing.
No, I don't want to try it. I think that's half the problem. I think that's the reason why we're here.
Neighbors like complained about me to the HOA, and they're really irritated. So they're starting to like gang up together and start to tell the board president about me. My neighbor Matt, him and I used to be friends, but he just started getting like really weird. He's the New Yorker. He's the one with the attitude who's really coming on strong about this. He's always like threatening and stuff like that. And when he's walking by, if I happen to come out, start yelling at me. So he wants to kick my ass.
He's been warned numerous times by the HOA to knock it off.
Here comes New York attitude with his, oh, you gotta stop feeding the iguanas.
Everybody's annoyed. It's quiet. And then he comes in, he got a little too comfortable and started doing this nonsense, aggravating everybody. I don't know anybody that likes him, I'll put it that way. If I was in charge, the strikes are out.
Well, Darren says his neighbor Matthew calls him Jungle Boy for feeding the wild green iguanas in his townhome community.
Whatever time zone you're on, when I get back, I'll let you experience this with me.
Let's not worry about experiences, and you should know what time zone. You're 3 doors down. Listen, you want to do this, you want to have the iguana experience, you want to be one with nature, you want to be all you can be with whatever you want. The Everglades is 45 minutes west.
And that's where I get my moss from.
Go live on the pond. Go live in the Everglades. This was not a problem until you started this nonsense. You started this garbage.
You know what? When
and
I
now it's
came
like,
to that community,
this is why nobody likes you, man. This is why nobody likes you. You gave off this whole
because
vibe
they're
when you
jealous
moved in.
like you.
Yeah,
You know
jealous
what?
of what? What would I possibly be jealous of?
Don't
Listen,
wake me, buddy.
I go to bed every night thinking,
He's gonna
man,
wake
you know
me
what?
one day.
Nothing makes me happier. Nothing would make me happier than to feed an iguana a Reese's peanut butter
I'm
cup.
a peaceful. You know what? So why don't you come over and try it? I'll let you try it.
I don't want to have anything to do with you. Why would I come over and do that?
You know what? I'm very calm, but you're starting to wake me, and you don't want to see that.
Go ahead, set an alarm. Wake up. I don't care. I'm done with you, man.
I'm gonna set an alarm, all right?
Yeah, set it. Go ahead.
You need to straighten him out. You know what? You should have came to our time zone, and we should have confronted him. Because he's whack.
Anytime you want. Anytime you want. You can come over.
Look
Dr.
at
Phil.
him.
Don't worry
He's just
about it.
crazy. I don't need this. I'm like
Well,
I was
you
peaceful
say-
when I got here, but now I'm starting to get aggravated because I see him up there. You're really annoying.
One of the last times, probably the last time that we hung out, he goes, hey, I want to give you something when you, and I'm like, all right, well, what is it? What do you want? And he goes, it's a piece of moss. I'm like, moss? I go, what am I going to do with a piece of moss? And he's like, oh, no, look, you could do this, you could do this. And he turns it over, and he named it. He named the piece of moss. He's like, yeah, if you talk to it, it'll grow. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Maybe I misjudged this guy. I got to get out of here because the next thing I know, God knows what he's going to be offering me. So
yeah, okay.
I took off.
This guy's a real.
So did you offer him some moss?
Yes, I did. And
what was its name?
I had them come over, like when people come over to people's houses and have dinner and stuff like that, you're welcoming them into your house. So if I have something that I think is like special to me and I offer it to you, don't go on TV and making fun of me and call me names and stuff. I'm trying to be like hospitable, and this is special to me. If the moss is special to me and I'm trying to give it to you, take it. And even if you don't want it, you can give it away to somebody else or something like that. But don't be a jerk. Look, he's like a jerk.
Why were you giving him moss?
Because it's something that I think it's special and it's a present. And I said you could hang it on your wall. You could put it in a frame and stuff. I have some on my, in a dish in the house. Because what it does is it takes the carbon dioxide and turns it into oxygen. So it's like a natural cleansing that you can have in your house. And not many people have it, this special moss. So I was giving them some. Yeah. I was trying to help him out, get maybe a better vibe going on in his house. You could tell it's like, look at him. He's like all stiff and stuff.
You named the moss?
Yeah.
What was its name?
I don't know what the one I was showing them. I don't remember. I didn't. But they have there's Lola. There's all different names. Mossy Moss, DJ Moss. I got different names for them.
Because a lot of people keep black garbage bags full of moss in their garage.
Well, it collects more. It sucks up moisture also.
Yeah.
So if I have a big black bag of it, it's going to suck up all the moisture because in South Florida we have a moisture problem where stuff gets moldy. If you knew that, you wouldn't be coughing all the time.
Not a moisture problem. Yeah, we have an iguana problem, and there's one reason why.
Darren says he was reported to the community board for feeding iguanas, but he does not feel like he's breaking any rules. Well, is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I'm
we'll
not
talk
breaking
about
any
that
rules.
when we come back. Matthew admits to cursing Darren out for what he believes is selfish behavior that adversely affects all the homeowners who have to deal with cleaning up these iguana droppings from around, for fixing damage caused by the iguanas who are invading the area because Darren is feeding them. Now, Matthew reported Darren to the community board president, who declined participating today. Do you give any credence at all to any of their complaints, or do you think they're just completely off the wall?
Honestly, I'm doing me, man. You know when you say you do, that's what I go by. You do you. If it's making me feel good, I don't care what they think, dude. Do you think I give a crap what they think?
Well, apparently not.
Here's the thing. Do what you do inside your own walls.
What?
Here's the problem. Do what you do inside your own walls, okay? You can't do what you do when you live in a gated community, a townhouse gated community, when the houses are connected. It affects
bring
everybody.
them into my house
That's
then
the
and let
biggest
them live in the
problem.
house?
That's the biggest problem, is that you doing this nonsense has now affected everybody.
Here's the thing. It just says, warning, beware of alligators, snakes, and unknown wildlife in the area. No swimming, fishing, boating. Don't feed any wildlife. Keep your distance.
Yeah. It doesn't say don't feed iguanas. It's not specific. Alligator, snake, and unknown wildlife. Unknown is not an iguana. Iguana is known.
It says don't feed any wildlife.
But it's not specific. That's not black and white. It's red and white, and it's also in a gray area. It says do not feed any wildlife. Well, guess what? They're not wildlife to me. So in my head, it's not wildlife. It's my friend. And if you're feeding a homeless person and the person over here is mad because there's a homeless person in their area.
Iguanas are not homeless. They live in the pond.
But they depend on me.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
There are thousands of them down there that get by. I've never met you. They don't listen to your music. They don't come to your house.
But the ones that do like me and love me and have a vibe toward me, they expect me to come outside and feed them.
They don't have expectations.
They do. You just don't know.
You need to get a life, not a lizard.
You don't know.
Florida Wildlife says there is an infestation of iguanas.
Is, but not in my yard.
Yes, you're drawing them into your yard.
Yeah, so I could take care of them
and I can control them out of your mouth,
population.
and they have salmonella. You can get botulism.
Yeah, well,
this can cause paralysis.
Did I ever get that in my paralysis? No, I'm not. I got bit by the iguana. Did I get salmonella? No. I put peroxide on it. Not yet. I mean, it's been months. I'm not I don't get stuff like that because I am out in the nature. Do I look infected? I'm not infected.
Let me ask you a question. If you love the iguanas and your neighbors don't, and you want to be mature about this, why don't you go to the iguanas? I'm sure there's a pond or a marsh around there where they hang out and tell iguana jokes.
They do. It's out on it's right out back there. It's like 20 feet from the patio.
Then you can go out to where they are, but don't draw them into the houses where they eat the vegetation and burrow under the patios.
But I can't do that. I have a relationship with them already.
You can have a relationship with them where they live.
And then it's going to be worse. Then they're going to be like, oh, he's going down to the pond. Like, I'm on my own property. So if they come to me, it's like not a big deal. But if I go down into the common ground, that's when they're going to get me. He's probably got it all planned out with the board and everything. They're waiting for that.
You have completely lost your mind.
You probably told
you have lost your mind. Listening to you right now. Listen, I thought you were bad. Hearing how you're breaking this down, I don't even know if there's any hope for you.
You probably got with the doctor and the board and told them, let's tell him to go to the lake and play with the iguanas, and then we're going to get them. Because then they got video footage.
You're right. You know what? I sent Big Mark a text message and I let her know.
You caught us. This is Iguana Gate.
It's like a corporate thing.
We'll meet Darren's daughter and her boyfriend to find out how they feel about this feud with the neighbors when we come back.
I'm going to show you how easy it is to hose it off. I don't know why people worry about this stuff, but look, see? You just literally hose it right off.
Darren says he's in an ongoing feud with his neighbors, particularly Matthew, and an ongoing relationship with Large Marge and Bruno, because Darren admittedly feeds the iguanas who roam free on the grounds of their peaceful South Florida townhome community. Mm-hmm. Now, why am I talking about this is, we have enough things to be bent out of shape about. And just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. And, sometimes we have to step back and say, hey, you know what? What can I do to get along? Is there a way we can find some common ground here? Now, Darren's daughter, Ariella, says she doesn't see the problem with her father's behavior. Her boyfriend, Kyle, told my producers that he really cares for Darren a lot, but secretly wishes he would stop feeding the green iguanas. Your dad's feeding them out of his mouth.
And they like that.
I'm sure they do. But that can cause you to get sick, and it can cause paralysis. It can get seriously troublesome. What do you think about what your dad's doing?
I thought at first it was a really cute thing. They would just come up on the patio. They would always come out when my dad was there. At first, it really wasn't harmful. Like, he would just bring fruit out there.
It was fun. It was really fun at first.
I have videos on my own phone of it because I thought it was funny. I really didn't see a problem with it.
Until there were about 6, 7 of them at a time sometimes, and we're getting threatened by the neighbors, and it's a big back and forth. And I think, it's just ongoing. It's not necessarily, it doesn't bother us, but we're worried about him to the extent we don't want him to get hurt. We don't want anything to happen, in the community.
What do you think about the health issues here?
The thing is, I have a bond with them, and I am immune to salmonella, so I'm not going to catch it. I already touched the iguana poop. I touched the iguanas. I fed them out of my mouth. That iguana is not the only thing I ever fed. I went to New York City and fed the pigeons out of my mouth. They're flying rats. Did I catch salmonella? No. So, with that said, I'm immune to salmonella.
Sometimes I wish you would just leave the food out there for them and not do things like that. The last thing I would want to do is to see her.
It's definitely fun. I mean, I definitely get a good laugh
Even have your friends come over and look at my dad. Look, he feeds it. Go do it, Dad. Put something in your mouth. Let them feed it for them.
Yeah, but you're gaining new information now, right? You're gaining new information now, like salmonella and botulism, and drawing these things up to your...
People shoot it in their face anyway, don't they?
We're going to meet an iguana expert, which I'm not, but there is someone who is, who says it seems like Darren is treating the reptiles as pets, and it's illegal to have pet iguanas without a permit in the state of Florida. And we'll find out whether it's safe to be doing what he's doing.
I don't do illegal.
Imagine walking into your bathroom and seeing this.
I came in, opened the lid, and there it was staring back at me.
Yup, an iguana had slithered its way through the pipes and into Bruce and Janet Blyer's toilet in their home in Hollywood, Florida.
I felt like Godzilla was looking at us.
A professional iguana trapper was called in.
You got him? Yeah. Okay, well, don't come too close to me.
Are you on edge in your home?
Not on edge until I walk into the bathroom each time, and I have to admit that we definitely look before we sit.
You look before you sit?
Always, and I always will for the rest of my life.
We would be moving.
They're scared of the little thing in their toilet bowl.
Well, if Robin opened up that lid and there was a lizard in there, we would get moving boxes and off we would go. We're talking about neighbors feuding over iguanas. Like we don't have enough things to do in America. We need to feud over iguanas. It sounds trivial, but the residents say, look, this is a serious issue. Darren says there's no harm in feeding the reptiles, but his neighbor Matthew says the iguana invasion that is damaging their properties, eating up their vegetation, it is all an unnecessary problem. You don't need, they're there anyway. You don't need to draw them up needlessly. We reached out to a certified iguana expert, and yeah, they do exist, to have him weigh in on this conversation. So please welcome Perry Calato, owner of Redline Iguana Removal in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area. So thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. What can you tell us about this, Perry? I'm saying he shouldn't be feeding these out of his mouth to start with, that they do have bacteria, that you shouldn't be handling them, putting your hands in your mouth. You shouldn't be feeding them out of your mouth. It's not a good idea. Tell me what's going on here.
I agree with you 100%, Dr. Phil. And to you, man, I understand why you want to do this and you think that you're helping them in the long run. Me personally, I was born and raised in South Florida. For 29 years, I've lived there. And I've seen their population expand over the time I've lived there. To give you a little bit of background about them, they're actually not native to Florida. They're native to Central and South America. They were brought in around the 1960s in the pet trade, and they were let go. People like yourself, they think they're really cute when they're really small, and then they outgrow their cage very quickly, and you can't take care of them anymore, so now they're in the wild.
I take care of them even
just to give you a little bit of,
let him speak.
Just to give you a little bit of how big of a problem it is. I work for a local fire department down there, and I opened up a company specific to remove this one animal. And we are very busy removing that one animal.
So you're a nature hater?
I'm not, sir. I actually really do love our native wildlife and plants, and these guys are non-native to Florida, which in turn is causing issues for our native plants and animals, and it's out-competing them. Each female can lay up to 70 eggs a year, and they don't really have any natural predators. Once they get to Bruno's size, like you have here, there's nothing to limit their population, which in turn can be very detrimental to our native plants and animals.
Well, that's your opinion.
It's actually a fact, man. I'm sorry.
No, you know what? First of all, you bring a nature hater on the show. You have him sitting there. You don't even tell me that.
You didn't even know they had teeth.
It's all right.
Well, I know now.
Not only are you not giving them the ability to search for food on their own, now they feel comfortable on your property to where they can bite a kid. If a kid's sitting in his backyard eating a sandwich, they can come and bite his hand.
But they're not gonna.
And
they
these
don't know
things
that
are,
kid.
like
They
you
know
said,
me.
you're an adult and you started bleeding very easily. These things bite like an alligator and they roll. And their nails can carry salmonella underneath them as well because they walk around in their feces. So you might not be affected by their bacteria, but a little kid, a dog, somebody else might. And
That's
that's the
because
issue.
little Johnny never been outside, and that's why they don't have an immune system like I do.
But also, your neighbors, the one that you have on TV here as well, you're attracting more iguanas to your property and to your neighbor's property. So not only are they not competing for food anymore because they get it from you, now they can focus more on breeding, which is going to be an even bigger issue for you guys later on.
Okay, whatever. Enjoy life, man. Feel it.
Darren and Matthew say they want the feuding to end, but is that even possible at this point? I'll tell you what I think when we come back.
More and more iguanas are now roaming through Cape Coral. Neighbors say the invasive species is damaging their seawall.
Scurrying along canals and into backyards, neighbors in Southeast Cape Coral say these green iguanas are making themselves at home outside of their homes.
This is the most we've seen in a while. We'll see up to 8 or 10 on our deck at a time.
Green iguanas are an invasive species, so FWC says neighbors can get them off private property by capturing them or even killing them, as long as it's humane. But some neighbors say they'd like to see the city send in professionals to take out these unwanted guests.
Well, all hour long, we've been talking about feuding neighbors. The subject is iguanas, but it's about feuding. Is there any theory under which you would alter your behavior?
No.
No.
Why should I alter what I feel is right? Like what I have a connection to? Would you alter something that you have a connection to? I don't know if you have pets or anything, but if your neighbor said, don't feed your pet anymore, are you going to listen to them? Or are you going to keep feeding them?
You said you didn't have pets, and I think that's the position you're embracing since that would be illegal. So I don't think.
Well, that's how I draw the line, see? They come to me. I'm not technically keeping them as a pet, so there's no problem here. It's just he has the problem. The guy over Sasquatch over there.
Well, I don't think he's. I don't think he's invading your right to peaceably occupy your home and
he has the problem.
And get
nature
along.
Hater over there.
I'm not a nature.
How do you feel killing them things? And then when you go up to heaven one day and God says, hey, man, remember that creature I put on the earth and you just killed 5,000 of them?
You can think what you want,
see what your
but at the end of the day, I just want to help our native plants and animals that are supposed to be there. And when these things get brought in and they're non-native and they're an invasive species, it outcompetes our native wildlife, and then that in turn kills
Let me
the
ask
things
you a
that are
question
supposed
now.
to
Do
be
you
there.
feel good about killing them?
That's not a question. I don't get any joy
that is
out
a
of
question.
killing anything.
Is that a question? Maybe if the doctor asked you.
Well, here's the thing.
How do you feel about killing the iguana that just had that bond with me and everybody saw it? How do you feel about killing that thing? Like it's literally an alive
I'm going to have the last word here because it's my name on the wall.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I strongly suspect that their bond is with the food, not you.
No, it's not.
And I'm just giving my opinion. And I don't think you're the best listener because you're talking while other people are talking, which means you're not listening to what they're saying. It's hard to learn.
I listened to everything you guys all said. I listen and talk. I multitask.
Yeah.
So I can do all that.
Yeah. And you're immune to salmonella.
Immune to salmonella, multitask. I got everything he said. I got everything you said.
I hope you protect yourself and don't get infected. It's not a good idea what you're doing. I highly recommend you stop doing it. That's my advice to you. Matthew, I hope you guys don't have a physical confrontation. Highly recommend against that. I highly recommend against that. There are other.
Listen, I want it to end. I don't want to live like this. It's exhausting. It's annoying. But you could just see how, Darren, shut up for 5 minutes and just let me talk. Just shut up. You've cut everybody off. Just shut up for 5 minutes.
You're not getting to the point.
Stop. So here's the thing. Like you said, he doesn't listen. He's got an answer for everything. Everything. I'm willing to say, listen, I'll bury this. I'll squash this. We can pretend it never happened. Just stop what you're doing.
We reached out to Darren, who told my team he felt a little bad for his neighbor Matthew after the taping. So he spoke with his church pastor, who told him because of the Bible, he had to stay friends with his neighbors. Darren says he invited Matthew and his wife over for dinner and offered him an actual physical olive branch to symbolize an apology. Darren claims things have been better since the dinner, as they don't fight. Darren also says Matthew accepted another peace offering, a bowl of moss called Diana moss. Even with the alleged peace offering, Darren admits he has not stopped feeding the iguanas. We also reached out to Matthew, who also agreed they're doing okay now, but believes Darren, well, is still a little weird. For more information about today's episode, log on to drphil.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And if you want to keep up with all things Dr. Phil, scan the flow code on the screen. This will link you to exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Plus, you can follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. I really talk about critical information on some of the most important issues that all of us are facing today. And check out Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw. Listen for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Bethany was an outstanding soccer player. She quit because of drugs.
Doctors saved her life.
She got a pig heart valve and a pacemaker.
But what will she do with her second chance?
Even though I've had open heart surgery, I'm still getting high.
You brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was high at my wedding.
Look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea.
I know in my heart that, I'm just over it.
You use drugs today. You're over it? You're kidding me.
She's stealing money, breaking into cars, doing sexual favors.
She told me she wouldn't do that.
Where did you think she was getting the money? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
All right, I want you to take a look at some heart-wrenching photos. A beautiful young woman given a 50-50 chance of survival. After 10 days in a coma on life support, emergency open heart surgery, and another operation to put in a pacemaker, Bethany did survive. But while her family rejoiced, some were conflicted over how they felt about Bethany's second chance at life. Her sister Abby and brother Josh say maybe their baby sister dying may have been the best thing for their family. Why would they say that? Because Bethany is a heroin addict whose addiction is so serious that she checked herself out the night she was admitted to the ICU to go get high. Take a look.
Bethany's stay at the hospital was very, very traumatizing. It was just hell for us.
A couple days after Christmas, she arrived at the hospital in the ER with my mom and dad. She was extremely sick. She was knocking on death's door 100%. Her white blood count was 3 or 4 times what it was naturally supposed to be. She also had bilateral pneumonia on top of all that. She refused to be admitted, and she 100% discharged herself after medical advice. She wanted to get high. I couldn't believe it. The drug dealer dropped Bethany off. Within minutes of getting to the hospital, her oxygen levels plummeted. They moved her into ICU. She had a big apparatus that was around her face, blowing air into her lungs. They put her into a medical-induced coma for about 10 days.
People came and prayed over her at the hospital daily, every day. I was upset, mad, frustrated, because I knew why she was in the hospital.
The doctors did an EKG on her heart and realized she had a major leakage in one of her valves. The only way to really fix it was to open her chest up and physically remove it.
Bethany got a pig heart valve.
Also, the doctors end up installing a pacemaker.
The worst part of this whole thing is that this was completely self-inflicted because of her drug habit.
Sometimes I feel like it would be easier if
You were dead just so my family would stop worrying.
And so we could live a normal life without this headache of addiction.
Well, it's been a month, just a month since Bethany's discharge, but Abby and Josh say her first night home from the hospital, she snuck out, disappeared, and now refuses to tell anyone where she is.
Drugs are more important to Bethany than anything else, even herself. Bethany doesn't show respect to anybody in my family. Bethany has the nerve to use in my parents' home. One time, she had a boyfriend over while my parents were out of town, and he overdosed.
His muscles were all locked up, and my brother actually had to drag him out of the bathroom, get him into the living room floor, and do CPR until the paramedics arrived.
The fact that she would bring that into my family's home is just absolutely insane. Bethany was even high at my wedding, and she was my maid of honor. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and my sister's beside my husband and I high. Bethany never apologized to me for that. She just thought it was funny. Nothing is sacred to her.
In August, Bethany's friend from childhood, also a heroin addict, died of an overdose.
Bethany went to the funeral high as a kite. She's constantly lying about who she's with and what she's doing. Bethany has a sugar daddy. He's giving her money and a phone.
Physically, Bethany's appearance has changed drastically. Her eyes have sunken in, her body shriveled up. She looks like a corpse.
I told Bethany that she was a person, and she's broken our hearts. And I just told her to get her life together. She just said and didn't talk to me anymore.
Well, her parents say Bethany was not raised to be deceitful, wasn't raised to be a drug addict, and don't want to know the person that she's become.
What are you doing?
I am about to do heroin.
The Bethany that I see now is definitely not the daughter that I want to know. Bethany and her 6 siblings had a great life growing up.
We raised all of our children to know what right and wrong was.
Bethany was an outstanding soccer player and was on her way to get a scholarship. And because of drugs, she quit the soccer team. When Bethany was in high school, she was involved in an altercation with one of her friends. She was charged with lynching. The charges were reduced to a misdemeanor, but the whole thing would have been dropped if she had have done community service and passed the drug test, but she could not pass the test at all. I feel like the guilt and the shame of having that on her record pushed her deeper into the drug scene.
As I watched my daughter on life support in the hospital, I felt absolutely helpless.
It was heart-wrenching to see your youngest lying there like that.
She was in bad shape physically.
She had a 50-50 chance to live.
I looked at her and I couldn't tell if she really realized what she'd been through and how serious it was. I issued the tough love. I told Bethany if she were to die in this situation, we would cry, we would hurt, but our lives would go on. She didn't give me a response.
We're in a dire situation here, right?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to just jump into this. Joining us via Polycom is Bethany's older brother, Josh. Josh, I want to include you right from the beginning as well. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Clyde, let me start with you. What's your objective in being here today?
Well, really, my objective is to help my daughter to live a normal life. My heart's broken. My heart's broken right now.
How do you feel towards her right now? Are you angry? Are you
Very angry.
frustrated? What are your feelings?
Yeah, frustration.
I'm angry,
Big
frustrated.
time.
I resent her for doing this to our family. Just sad.
Josh, how about you?
It's a very, very frustrating and heartbreaking to watch her go through this again.
The most challenging part, Dr. Phil, is as a family having to decide at some point when is enough enough. I mean, something has to change.
What's your position? And by the way, I want you guys to be brutally honest, just straight up what you feel.
I love my daughter, and I feel like that I have loved her with every inch inside of me and done probably what my family feels like I've been an enabler to her a lot. And maybe I have in some sense, but I felt like if I didn't do what I did, that she would die, that nobody else would be there because they were so aggravated and angry with her. I don't want to enable her, and I don't want to be the bad guy.
You said, maybe I'm enabling her. I mean, let's call a spade a damn shovel here. You are enabling her.
Right.
And by the way, let's get this out of the way right up front. You're enabling her for you, not for her. You're doing it to allay your anxiety. You're doing it so you get a peaceful night. You're doing it so you feel better. You're putting your needs ahead of hers. You're giving her that money so that night you can go, okay, she's got a room tonight, or I know she's somewhere tonight that I know, and I can rest easy tonight. You've ignored the fact that you've taken her one step deeper into heroin hell.
It's so hard, Dr. Phil, to when do you do actually cut it off and say, no more at all? No more. I mean, put her out and put her on the street and say no more.
Well, look, I try to get things down real simple, and I have core values, and one of them is you just don't reward bad behavior. I mean, let's just think about that. Hey, everybody here, think about that. Is that a good value? You just don't reward bad behavior?
That's a good
value. If you have a kid that writes on the wall, you don't pick him up and hug him and say, good job.
Right. We never did that.
You don't reward bad behavior. Right. So if your daughter is shooting up heroin, you don't give her $20.
That's right.
And if we get her somewhere that she needs to be, and she calls you whining and crying, and you cave, oh, woman.
She asked me for $20 about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I told her, and you would be happy, because I told her no.
Well, if she asks you for $20, you might as well hit her in the head with a ball-peen hammer.
Right.
Then give her $20.
Right.
Bethany is here, and she allowed our cameras to document her daily life, a life that may or may not shock her family to see and hear. We're going to meet Bethany after the break, and we're going to see what she does. We'll be right back.
I don't even trust Bethany.
Bethany is a master manipulator. She's a liar. She's a thief. Bethany's stolen money, purses, clothing, anything that is of value she could probably sell, she sells. When Bethany comes around, you have to hide stuff in your car keys. There's been many occasions where Bethany's taken my mother or my father's car in the middle of the night and gone to go buy drugs. Bethany denies it 100%.
Bethany just needs to wake up and realize what she's doing. She's just being a selfish idiot.
Now, Bethany allowed our cameras to document her daily life. And when I say document, we didn't encourage, we didn't initiate, we were a fly on the wall. She just did what she did, and we documented it with our cameras. So take a look.
Well, I have a scar straight down here from my heart surgery. And then I have this one here, which is where the pacemaker is now.
Even though I've had open heart surgery and a pacemaker put in, I'm still getting high. It's something that I can't control. I am not shooting heroin right now. I'm snorting it. Heroin is my #1 priority in life. I probably use about 4 or 5 times a day. When I use, it's like a warm, fuzzy hug. It numbs out the world, and the world that I live in is no good. I'm gonna go ahead and get high in the bathroom. I feel better now. We are going to pick up some heroin right now for myself. I've got a friend that sends me money when I need it. They do not know what I use it for. I usually tell them what they want to hear. I'm just gonna get like just a couple bags. That'll last me a few hours.
How will they feel about us pulling up with the camera?
Oh no, you gotta turn that thing off. I am about to do some more of this heroin. I have a love-hate relationship with heroin. I love the way it makes me feel, but I hate what it does to me as a person and to the people that I love. With my medical condition, it's pretty insane that I would still choose to do what I'm doing. I'm risking my life at this point.
That's tragic. That's sad. It breaks my heart to know that I've known it all along, that she puts a drug ahead of her family and the love that we have for her. It's mind-boggling to me. I understand the addictive part physically. The mental part I don't quite get for whatever reason.
It makes me angry.
She's just been out of the hospital a very short time.
Yeah, 30, 40 days.
She was in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
I don't understand how stupid you can be. I don't get it.
And if you give her $20, it goes up her nose right now.
The doctors that operated on her heart told her that when she came to her senses and was able to speak and understand out of the coma. You know, they said once they operated on her heart that if you go back to drugs, you'll die. In 90 days, you'll be dead.
Josh, any comment?
It's just, it's heartbreaking and sad to actually see her using. Obviously, all this time we've known she's been using.
Yeah.
But to watch her do it, it's actually makes my stomach hurt a little bit. But that's the reality of it. The reality of what she's doing is she's killing herself, and it's just tragic and sad.
what I just saw. I'm just amazed that she absolutely has been doing that, because she's been telling me that she's not doing anything, you know. And I just see this, and it's just like, you know, all the lies and the stealing, and
It's sickening.
it just is
Hurts
heartbreaking,
your heart.
because this is not the child that I raised.
But you have to come out of your fantasy world of what you want to believe,
Right.
what you want to be true, and recognize what is true, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Right, exactly.
She's telling you, I'm not using, I'm not doing anything, I'm not that stupid. And you have video evidence, firsthand evidence of exactly what's happening.
Right.
Now, Bethany is refusing to come down right now. She's insisting on changing her clothes.
I'm not surprised.
Her parents might put up with this, but I don't. We're going to take a break, and hopefully she's going to be ready to come down here so we can get down to business. We'll be right back. Okay, from being homeless and living in a crack house to using heroin inside a church, Bethany says nothing is more important to her than heroin.
When I use drugs, I'll do it anywhere. When I need to do it, I do it. I've used drugs at my parents' house. On Christmas Day, I was in the bathroom. My sister walked in on me getting high. I didn't care anymore who saw me, who knew. I've attended 5 funerals for friends that have died of overdoses. One time I used drugs before my friend's funeral. It was really crazy. The worst place I ever shot up was in a Narcotics Anonymous meeting in a church. There have been times that I've been homeless due to my heroin using. I lived with a drug dealer. It was a drug house. When you walk in, there's random people getting high. Using heroin has definitely put my life in jeopardy. I've overdosed 3 times. One time, I overdosed in a McDonald's parking lot. One of my friends told me that I was turning blue and she had to do the CPR. Another time I overdosed, I was in a parking lot with a guy. He ended up having to hit me with Narcan like I was dying, if I wasn't dead already. And the Narcan brought me back from leaving Earth. It scared me, but not enough to stop. The lifestyle's pretty insane, to say the least. I shouldn't be alive, but I am.
Let's ask Bethany to join us now. Hello, Bethany.
Hey,
How you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you feeling right now?
I feel okay.
Have you gotten high today?
Mhm.
How long ago?
A couple hours.
And you brought heroin on the plane with you here, right?
Mhm.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry?
It's crazy you would do that.
When you were in the hospital, you were really, really sick. Do you have a full awareness of how sick you were in the hospital? I mean, you had open heart surgery, you were in a medically induced coma for 10 days, you got a pacemaker, a valve replacement. Do you have a sense that that's on death's door?
Yeah.
If you had died, would that have been okay with you?
At the time, yeah.
How do you feel saying yes to that question?
It's pretty sad and selfish.
What impact do you think that would have had on your mother?
Oh, man.
Huh?
It would have broke her heart.
And you've been telling her that you aren't using now, right? Why did you tell her that when in fact you are using?
I just wanted to tell her basically what she wanted to hear. I'm just tired of hurting people.
You were Abby's maid of honor, right? That was a big day in your life, wasn't it?
Yeah. And she was high at my wedding. She got high at my wedding.
She was high at your wedding?
We didn't know that, man. I'm like the last one to ever know anything. Do you feel like that as a father or husband? I'm like the last one to know.
No, I
You're
don't
not?
feel that way.
Well, I do, man, and it's not a good feeling.
I asked her about it, and she just kind of laughed. She thought it was funny.
Why are you a heroin addict?
I mean, I didn't like wake up one day and say like, I think I'm gonna do heroin today. I think I'm gonna be a heroin addict. It didn't really work out like that, but I think I do it to like just numb
You say it numbs you from the world.
reality.
What's so painful in your reality that you need to numb yourself to it?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know. I've never dealt with a lot of things, so.
What have you not dealt with?
I was in like a pretty like physically abusive relationship.
Were you numbing yourself from being hurt, or were you numbing yourself from the fact that you allowed that to happen?
Both.
Let's take a break for a minute. Where else does Bethany get money to support a deadly addiction? From robbing men to resorting to things that may break her family's heart, we're going to get it all on the table, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
I have definitely resorted to things to get drugs, to get high. I worked at a strip club for about 5 years so that I could support my habit. It was pretty easy money. My family does not know that I was doing that. I have not ever been an escort or a prostitute, but I've done sexual favors for guys in order to get drugs. One time, me and one of my friends robbed this old man who was paying our rent, buying us food, taking us shopping, and we ended up taking 12 grand. We actually got one of our guy friends to make it look like somebody had broken into his car and took his money. I've never stolen money from my family, but one time I stole a pretty expensive purse from my mom and sold it. Worst thing I ever sold was my car. I sold it for $2,500. I've never sold drugs myself. However, I did favors for my drug dealers. I gave quite a few people rides to make drug transactions. I have a friend that gives me money now, but I don't have a sugar daddy. It's pretty crazy. I don't want to live like this anymore.
It's reality time, Mom. What are you hearing and what are you feeling?
Just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking. You know, to hear the things that she's been willing to go to that extent for money is to support her habit.
What did you think she was doing?
Honestly, I think I just blocked it out of my mind that she wouldn't do that. She really wouldn't do that.
Where did you think she was getting the money?
I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't sure where she was getting it, but I didn't think that she would resort to that. I really did not.
Well, I know you weren't sure, but where did you think she was getting the money?
I had no idea, but I just knew that she wouldn't do something like that. And I'm just amazed. I am just totally amazed at what I just saw and heard.
You knew she was doing drugs. You know they cost money. Where did you think she was getting the money?
Honestly, the fact that what I just saw with the girls' club, I had heard that she probably was doing something like that, but I would dismiss it because I didn't think that she would do that. And I guess just in a denial that no, she wouldn't do that. And have believed everything that she's ever told me, and fought with my family. She wouldn't do that. And been on a roller coaster emotionally because I wanted to believe the best. And yet, because you love your children, but you just, you know, you think she wouldn't do that. She told me she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't, you know, she wasn't lying. I'm really not lying, and yet she was, you know, stealing from me. And I just asked her, you know, the nice purse that I got, you know, have you seen it? No, ma'am, haven't seen it. And then she finally said, yeah, I took it. And I'm like, why? You know, that was in my closet. That wasn't for you to go take somewhere and sell it, you know.
Do you see why enabling is so evil, why it is so crippling? You allow her to stay in this game another day, another week. You make it possible for her to stay in that game. You make it possible for her to stay in the game where she's stealing money, breaking into cars, doing sexual favors for money, stripping, larceny. You're enabling her to do that. You're making it possible for her to do those things instead of stopping it a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Because of my drug use, I've been in some really dangerous situations. I've seen a lot of violence, a lot of fights. One time I saw my friend get shot over drugs. The dealer got upset that my friend was telling him that his bags weren't big enough. The dealer went back inside and got his gun and came back out and shot him in the leg. When I think about all the crazy things that I've been through, it makes me realize that the lifestyle that I was living is insane.
If you add the crimes up that she described on videotape, you're talking 30 years in prison. I did the math. I wrote them down. I listed them. Possession of heroin, first offense, 2 years. Second offense, felony, up to 5 years. Driving drug dealers to deliver heroin, that's trafficking, first offense, 7 to 25 years. Hired a friend to rob an older man, $20,000, grand larceny, 10 years. Trade sexual favors for drugs. Supplied heroin to friends who OD'd, witness attempted murder. You go through all of these things, you're talking a lifetime in prison.
How does your brain think like that, sweetie? I'd like to hear some kind of answer that would say, look, this is why I've been doing all this. Is there not a stopping point that you wouldn't do anything for the drug? I mean, what would it take to get you to change? We just went through open heart surgery, pig's valve, and a pacemaker. And you're back with drugs already? You tell me, I'm your dad, you tell me something that I could do, a point where we can stop and start this thing going in a different direction. And I'm here. I'm here for you.
I need help.
Our heart, look at me. Our hearts are breaking, baby. You have no idea. Your mother can cry about it, but you don't have any idea inside how it hurts and how deep it hurts. You don't have any idea. And it seems like from all the stuff that we're talking about, you don't really care. And we just want the Bethy that cares and is normal, that's all. You don't have to be anything great. Just be your Bethany that we love, Bessie Mae. We love you. Your brother loves you. Your sister loves you. Your whole family loves you. God. A lot of people don't have families that love them like this. They kick them to the curb and put them on the streets, make them prostitute for drugs. I don't know. I'm a streetwise guy, but I don't know how all that works. But it's just not, something's got to happen. Something's got to break inside of you to give us a place where we can start again somehow. Because this is crazy. This is so frustrating. It's frustrating.
Do you have anything to say to him?
I just need help, and I need y'all to try to understand it more. I know you don't understand, and you don't get it, but I don't know how to explain it to you and help you understand it. It's something that
Why should we believe you this time? I mean, we've been through this how many times, Doc?
6.
7? 6? We've been here. We're ridden this.
I don't want to live like this anymore. It's almost like I know, like, in my heart that, like, I'm just over it. Like, I don't...
You use drugs today. You're over it?
Yeah, but I don't want
me.
to. Like, I don't want to.
What you don't get is that when she's shooting up heroin and she is really needing that next fix, you could fall down in front of her with a heart attack and she would step over your body gasping for air to get to that next fix. You need to get that through your head. That's the power of what we're talking about here. We're going to take a break. Bethany admits her 6 stints in rehab were more like vacations than a life-saving resource. So is there anything that will finally turn her life around? I'm going to tell you what I think after the break.
While Bethany was in the hospital, I found a journal that she had written. She said she had experienced some very horrible things. It was just devastating and heartbreaking to know that my child had walked through that kind of thing. Reading the journal put a lot of things in perspective for me. It's not just the drugs that she needs help with. There's all kinds of emotional things down inside. She's not free. She's not free.
Despite recently being in a medically induced coma and having open heart surgery to save her life, Bethany admits she is still using heroin multiple times a day. Her serious drug addiction has left her sister Abby, brother Josh, and parents Charlotte and Clyde absolutely confounded. They're heartbroken, they're confused, and frankly, they feel helpless. They don't know what to do.
Don't know, have no earthly idea.
I do know that I'm done. After seeing what I saw today, I'm done. I can't, because I just feel like in the last 5 years that I'm the reason that she's where she is today. And that's very sad to me. That's heartbreaking to me to think, even though my family was telling me, Mom, you gotta stop. You know, I haven't wanted to until I saw and heard what she said today. And I can't do it anymore. I know that.
But you see why I zeroed in on you from the beginning. Josh, talk to me. What are you thinking and feeling right now?
I want to get off of this roller coaster ride of emotions and heartbreak and see her live normal, because she is a smart girl.
She is.
And she's beautiful when she's sober, and she has so much to offer, and it's frustrating. It's so frustrating just to see her throw her life away and waste all this precious time on drugs and this terrible things that we've heard today that she's been doing. It's just sad and it's heartbreaking.
Abby, what do you want to say to your sister?
I'm angry with her. The stuff that she does is, I guess being a female is just disgusting and just makes me angry. I'm hurt and I don't understand why she chose drugs and why she does everything over. She doesn't care about her family. She cares about heroin.
At this point, she couldn't stop this if she wanted to, because there is a physiological addiction that she has. There are parts of her brain that have been programmed to where she has to do this. And this is not a psychological, habitual phenomenon here. This involves her brain and her physiology. There are pleasure centers in the amygdala of the brain, in the nucleus accumbens in the brain that are involved. And she is in a neurological loop here that she cannot get out of. And I don't think she has ever had proper treatment. I think she's had partial treatment. She's had the 28-day patch.
And it didn't work.
If I told you that I know what you need and I can put you on that path, would you want to have it? The only chance that you have is not to treat your addiction, but to treat you. It's what's called dual diagnosis treatment programs that deal with comorbidity. You are depressed, you are anxious, you are confused. This man right here is T.J. Howard. Now, T.J. Howard, in addition to being a good friend of mine, is the corporate director for Origins Behavioral Health Care. And I believe they are the nation's leading dual diagnosis treatment center. And what they do is treat people, not diseases. They treat people, not addictions. And I asked him to fly in here today for you. TJ, where do you think she needs to go?
You know, I think that you're a perfect candidate for Hannah's House. It's our female-only facility that's highly medically capable because you have some medical concerns. And we got to involve the family because there's some major family enabling going on. But Hannah's House in South Padre Island, Texas is the best thing for you. We got to get you out of this loop that you're in and develop new brain pathways to get you onto some more healthy habits.
You can try to run off, but that isn't going to work because we're going to drag your ass back. And this card that I filled out here, yeah, I work with law enforcement. I work, do you know that? I work with law enforcement a lot. And you have confessed to a number of crimes here. And I'm going to keep you from doing drugs. You can either not do drugs in a treatment center, or you can not do drugs in jail. But I'm going to keep you off the street. And I would prefer that you do it in treatment. But that's your choice. You want to take this help? She says she'll take the help.
Thank goodness. Me neither.
I think she's ready. I want to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to T.J. Howard and Origins Behavioral Health Care. Thanks. I'll see you next time.
In case anybody didn't see that.
Oh yeah, these are the Listen Bitch positive affirmations. And I can go into more detail off camera.
Yeah, because you know things that chat don't know. Sorry, chat, I love you, but I ain't telling the entire internet my entire life. Thank you very much.
So one already came out.
Okay.
Listen, bitch, don't let any motherfucker disturb your peace.
Truth. That's good for fucking anybody.
And listen, bitch, you deserve rest. Seriously, take a break. I'm just telling you what they say.
I know, the cards are talking to us.
As my friend says, the guides be guiding.
Yes.
So, there's...
I think that's pretty cool. I like that.
There is a reading.
I feel like, and for very specific reasons, this whole side definitely hit. Even just from like the
said,
basic.
When this is all addressed, confronted, resolved, talked about, taken care of, whatever you want to call it, this is all going to fall into place. So you have to go through all of this to get to this.
Okay.
But it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Okay. Interesting. Well, even like this one, it said logic and reason, or I think was what it was said, something like that. And I was like, well, that's me. Either I want all of the logic,
honesty and logic.
Honesty and logic. I think I'm a pretty.
You want honesty. You give honesty.
Yeah.
But there's also a logic behind it all, and you want to understand that.
I definitely want to understand the logic. I don't want you to just tell me something. I need you to like break it down. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna take a picture of it for you.
Yes. Okay. This was really cool. Chat. Any thoughts? Any concerns? Comments? Questions? Talk to me. I think this is pretty cool. You know how you pulled a card for me the other day, that other time?
Mm-hmm.
Could you do that if somebody wanted you to in chat?
Yeah. If someone wants me to pull a card for them, I can.
Does anybody want Madame to pull a card for them? Just one card?
Probably not.
Probably not, and that's okay. It's almost time to put our cookies in the oven anyway. We were, Alka said pull his card, but he put a dirty face on it, but he still wants you to pull a card.
Okay, which deck?
Do you have a preference of decks?
This one or this one? Crows or forest creatures?
Crows or forest creatures, Alka? Urban, he says.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's her favorite. I like that. Those ones came out to us, Alki.
All right. So anticipation and territory. Anticipation. Anticipation brings hope and butterflies in the belly as we expect something to happen that brings joy or satisfaction. There is but one warning. Be careful of any attachments held for the desired outcome. If what you receive falls short of expectations, the feeling of joy can transform into disappointment. What are you looking forward to at this moment, and how would you adjust if your expectations are not met? And then territory. When territory appears in a reading, you may need to consider what boundaries are in place or if they are needed. Would the situation benefit from establishing some ground rules? Territory may also appear if you need to carve out some space for yourself, whether that be within your home or in a form of time to be alone. You may need to define the area that is solely yours and yours alone. So I feel whatever this is talking about, however it resonates with you, is going to also fall into place with this. Whatever the outcome is for this, you need to set boundaries for it, whether it be good or bad. So there may be some type of compromise that has to happen with whatever this is regarding.
Can people ask questions to these things?
If they have...
Pardon me, chat.
So, they want specific yes or no questions. That's more something for like a pendulum or divination rods. But if it's just a general question, then yes. It's like, you know, if you want to know something in regards to your work or to your love life or to a friendship or to a family matter, you know, things like that. Now, like you can't ask me if you're going to win the lottery or am I going to get my new car this year? Like,
No.
That's not how it works.
Well, I guess I more meant like if Alka had a question to what you said. Like that wasn't a yes or no.
Yeah.
So Alka, if you have any questions that is not a yes or no question, you can tell us. If you don't, that's okay. Does anybody else want a card pull, or do they have a question? I'm sorry, I had to go grab Alka. Go watch the VOD and then message me if you have any questions. You damn bum.
Oh, did he miss it?
Yes, he missed it. All right. Well, we are about to take the. He's going to watch the VOD and he'll message me if he has any questions. I was called away. We love you. Yeah. I'll allow it. All right. So anyway, we're about to take the delicious pre-made bread out of the oven. And by we, I mean she, right now, has done it. Who's ready to see some beautiful bread? Oh, I mean,
I like food.
Oh my God, you can like see I need to wash my hands, hold on, because I don't want to touch this after blowing my nose. Oh, you can smell the jalapeno. Oh, you can smell the jalapeno, Chad. That's totally delicious. So this is super hot, but you can like see cheese in here. Like look at that cheese in there. Oh, this is delicious. This is so beautiful. All right, so we're gonna let that cool, and we'll come back to that. Our oven for the cookies needs to be 350. Needs like yeah, 350. Here's our cookie dough.
Here, and I can see that this one that we did earlier.
Oh yeah, look at it.